It started like any other Tuesday. The world woke up, stretched, and reached for its phones. But something was wrong. The screens were blank. The little bars that showed connection were gone. No messages, no news, no videos of cats. Just a quiet, dead stillness. People tapped and swiped, their faces growing tight with confusion. They restarted their devices. They checked their routers, those little boxes with the blinking green lights. But all the lights were dark. A strange hush fell over the planet. A silence that wasn't about sound, but about connection. The first few days were pure chaos. People flooded the streets, not to protest, but to find answers. They gathered in public squares, their voices a low hum of worry and speculation. Was it a solar flare? A secret weapon? An attack from someone or something unknown? Panic hit the stores next. People realized that without the internet, their credit cards were useless. Bank machines were just dark, silent boxes. The entire global financial system had frozen. Suddenly, the only thing that mattered was the physical cash in your wallet. Grocery stores were swamped as people tried to buy everything they could with the money they had on hand. Hospitals faced a terrifying crisis. Patient records stored on digital servers were inaccessible. Doctors and nurses had to rely on memory and whatever paper files they could find. Schools closed their doors. Work stopped. The world felt off-kilter, like a movie where the sound had been cut. After the initial shock, a slow and strange transformation began. The world had to remember how to live in an analog age. Without GPS, people unfolded old, dusty paper maps. They asked for directions, their conversations with strangers becoming small acts of navigation and trust. Cities felt bigger, more mysterious. Every journey was a small adventure into the unknown. Communication became a deliberate act. The art of letter writing was reborn. For local messages, communities created bulletin boards in town squares. People tacked up handwritten notes, looking for a spare generator. Babysitter available? Has anyone heard from the Miller family on Oak Street? These boards became the new social media, a physical wall of a community's needs and thoughts. Entertainment had to be reinvented. With no streaming services or online games, people rediscovered old pastimes. Families dug out board games and decks of cards. The sound of dice rolling and laughter filled living rooms in the evenings. Musicians took to the streets, their acoustic guitars and voices providing a soundtrack for the new world. It was a quieter form of fun, but it felt more real, more shared. The year without the internet was filled with strange problems and even stranger solutions. One of the biggest challenges was preserving knowledge. Without search engines, how do you find information? So, communities started creating human libraries where people with specific expertise would hold sessions to answer questions. An elderly woman who knew how to garden became a local celebrity. A retired engineer who could fix anything became a hero. Knowledge was no longer a click away. It was a conversation, a story passed from one person to another, making it more precious. Small, forgotten skills suddenly became vital. People learned how to mend their own clothes instead of buying new ones. They learned to cook from scratch, sharing recipes written on index cards. There was a surprising joy in this self-reliance. Making something with your own hands, fixing something that was broken, felt meaningful. Little moments of triumph became common, yet there were also moments of unexpected wonder. Without the constant glow of screens, people noticed the world around them more. They saw the stars, really saw them. With less light pollution, the night sky blazed with a brilliance that most people had never witnessed. They noticed the changing of the seasons, the patterns of birds, the way the light fell in the afternoon. A deep connection to the natural world began to re-emerge. People spent more time outdoors, not to post about it, but simply to be in it. It was a quiet, profound discovery, a gift from the great silence. When the year was almost over, something shifted. It wasn't a sudden event, but a slow awakening. One morning, a phone flickered to life, then another. A single bar of connection appeared, then two. The internet was coming back, trickling into the world like a slow, hesitant dawn. The return was not met with universal joy. There was relief, of course, but also a strange sense of loss. People had grown accustomed to the quiet, to the new rhythms of their lives. The world that reconnected was not the same one that had been lost. People had learned things about themselves, about their communities. They had learned that they were more resilient than they thought. They had discovered the strength of local bonds, the importance of a neighbor's help, the simple pleasure of a face-to-face conversation. They had learned the difference between being connected and being present. The experience had been a global trauma, but it had also been a global lesson in what it truly means to be human, to rely on one another. As the digital world slowly rebuilt itself, people made choices. They were more deliberate about how they used it. They didn't abandon it, but they no longer let it rule their lives. Families made rules about screen-free evenings. Communities kept their physical bulletin boards, enjoying the local connection they provided. The memory of the Great Silence served as a powerful reminder. It was a ghost that haunted the new connected world, a whisper that asked, "Is this important? Is this real? Are you looking up enough?" The year without the internet had been a year of chaos, but it also planted seeds of change. Life after the silence was a hybrid. It blended the efficiency of the digital age with the mindfulness of the analog one. The world had been given a reset, a chance to rebuild its relationship with technology from the ground up. It was the year the screens went dark, the year the world went quiet, and the year that people, in the stillness, finally found a way to hear each other and themselves once again.